All right, there it is. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Shred Show live with me, Josh Pitts, and extremely special guest. I can't tell you how excited and pumped and enthused I am to have the legendary, ladies and gentlemen, legendary Dallin Larsen hanging out with me today. Entrepreneur, enthusiast, this gentleman, we're going to get a little bit into his past and what he has accomplished because, and to be honest, what's pretty exciting, Dallin, is we're actually kind of neighbors. We're lake neighbors, as I like to call it. I live on one end of the lake. He's on the other end of the lake here in Utah. And we get to drive past his house every once in a while. It's a beautiful home. But Dallin Larsen, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Josh. I'm going to be on that lake this Saturday. It's my birthday, and I've got a boat and bringing all the kids, the grandkids. We're going to go enjoy the lake.
Party on the boat.
Party on the boat.
And you're turning 40, so that's great news.
39.
Oh, 39, that's right.
It's actually, what is it? It's the 22nd anniversary of my 39th.
Still young and so much to accomplish, right, Dallin?
I've always said that your best days have always got to remain in front of you, not behind you, and that's how I feel.
100%. And let's get into it. So for those who don't know Dallin Larsen, I mean, there's so much that we could get into that you've accomplished over the years. CEO, founder, co-founder of multiple companies, and currently the CEO of Vasayo. You actually came out of retirement to start Vasayo, which we'll tell that story here in a minute. But tell us, you're an entrepreneur at heart. What started this whole entrepreneur journey for you?
Well, thanks, Josh. And so are you. Congratulations on what you're doing here at Shred.
Thanks,
Show
man.
up, hustle, repeat every day. I love your name and I love the acronym, and you're showing up and providing content to your listeners. Hopefully we can provide some meaningful content over the next few minutes together. So first of all, thanks for your time. Everybody listening in, I'll do my best for you in the next few minutes. How did I start? Well, I grew up in a small town in Idaho, Rexburg, Idaho. That's like 364 days of winter and 1 day of summer. And my dad was an entrepreneur. He had clothing stores, and he and my mom were married 64 years. They raised 10 children. I always say they gave me roots and wings, not loot and things. And they taught me how to work hard. Every summer morning, I'd get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and go up into those potato fields and move irrigation pipe for 6 cents a pipe. And so I'd make some money during the summer. I'd save it up. And when I was 18, I used all that money and I went to Israel for 6 months and lived on a kibbutz.
What?
And I don't know. I've just always loved being my own boss. I tried not doing that for a while.
How'd that work out?
Well, some people remember the snow shacks in Utah.
Yeah.
And this was when was this? This was in the 80s, I guess. And my brother and I opened like 20 of these snow shacks in Utah County and as far over as Vernal, and I was in my mid-20s, I guess. And, that's how I put myself through college. And so I was an entrepreneur, but I graduated and I decided to take a job in corporate America to see what that would feel like. I moved to St. Louis. I worked for the May Company. And about 3 months into that, I remember thinking, geez, I just don't fit. So I guess you find out when you're an entrepreneur, if you're an entrepreneur, when you've got a job and you say, I just don't fit. I had 12 different careers.
Whoa.
Okay, 12. And I remember one day my mom called me and said, Dallin, when are you gonna find something and stick with it? And I said, Mom, I've got one life and I refuse to compromise that life. When I find what I was born to do. And so I just kept chasing it, Josh. And I finally found this industry of direct selling, and it resonated with me. And that's what I've been doing now for the last 30 years. I've been fortunate to help start and build a couple global companies and help create hundreds of millionaires around the world and paid out several $1 billion to people, and including my own sister. I helped start a company by the name of USANA in 1991. Everybody, a lot of people know that company. It's got a market cap of over $4 billion and does over $1 billion a year. I was with them for their first 10 years over sales, and I thought, the way to start a network, I've got 9 brothers and sisters, and so I called all of them. Only one of them would listen to me.
Really?
Only one, because why? She was the most desperate.
There you go.
So desperate people do desperate things. I got her into direct selling in 1993. She was a single mother of 5 children. Her husband had just left her after 20 years of marriage, no child support, no alimony. She was living in San Diego, making $8 an hour as a single mother.
Oh my gosh.
Trying to raise 5 children, and 2 of those children had a disease called cystic fibrosis, and she was fighting to save their lives. And to make to condense a 30-year story into maybe 30 seconds, I got her in, and she built a massive business because she had a big dream.
Wow.
Her dream was to save her daughter's lives.
Wow.
And without a college education, I mean, what were her options? So she got in, she stayed in long enough to learn some skills.
Sure.
And she built a global business starting in San Diego that took her around the world. She became the top income earner in that company for like 13 straight years and made over $1 million a year. She's made a check every week for the last 27 plus years. Warren Buffett once said, if you don't figure out a way to make money while you sleep, you're going to work all your life.
100%.
So she's making money while she sleeps. I teach people how to make money while they sleep, because when you go to bed, other people around the world are waking up and they're chasing dreams just like you're chasing dreams if they're entrepreneurial.
Right.
And if they're realizing that it's wise to have multiple streams of income in your life, not one. And so with some of her money, instead of building homes and buying fancy cars, one of her daughters passed away of that disease, but the other daughter got a call from the Stanford Medical Center that 2 lungs and a heart had become available 7 years ago.
Wow.
And with the money that my sister made, at least some of it, she bought her daughter 2 lungs and a heart. And I believe 100% that that daughter's alive today because my sister said yes to this industry, got in, rolled up her sleeves, developed some skills, and she showed up and hustled and repeated every freaking day. Schreft.
Shraft. You got to shraft every freaking day, right? It's stories like that, Dallin, that I absolutely love hearing. And again, that's just your sister. Like you mentioned, you've created hundreds of millionaires throughout the world, and this is something that you have a passion for. Like I mentioned earlier, you came out of retirement. You were retired before Vasayo, and you had a vision, you had a passion. You're like, hey, I'm coming out of retirement. Share a little bit about that. Like, why would you possibly come out of retirement after everything you had achieved?
Well, thanks. Here's my story. I got involved as a distributor of Nu Skin. And so that's how I was introduced to this business. And then I helped start a company by the name of USANA, like I talked about. I was with them for 10 years. And then I decided, I just had that feeling inside that it was time to do something different. I mean, the company was doing well. And by the way, after my sister started making money, all my brothers and sisters joined.
Of course.
You know, so, and most all of them have made a lot of money. And that's a great company. That's where I cut my teeth. It's now a 30-year company. I'm so proud of what they've accomplished. But I decided I needed to chart my own path after a decade. And so I kind of wandered in the wilderness for a couple of years and eventually started a company called Monavie. And man, that was a rocket ship. That's like, it's no way for me to explain what happened there outside of, in our first about 3.5 years, we went from 0 to over 900 million a year in annual sales.
Holy cow.
Faster than I think Starbucks, Google, Microsoft went, in their first 3 years. So we were a rocket ship. We basically introduced the acai berry to America, and our timing was right. In business, you can work really hard. You would be wise to make sure you're in a vehicle that can take you to your destination. So choose wisely the vehicle you're in, and then you hope that some timing is on your side. Of
course.
Right? Entrepreneurs, it helps to be a little bit lucky.
Sure.
But I've also learned, as you have, is that luck stands for laboring under correct knowledge. And the harder I've worked in my career, the luckier I've gotten. So from 2005, we launched Monavie, and we took that company into, I think, 20 countries around the world and introduced North America and the world really to the acai berry out of the rainforest of Brazil. And it was a rocket ship. I sold a piece of that company to a private equity group. We sold 12% for the company for $100 million. It was a great day for the investors. But had I do it over again, Josh, I wouldn't have done it because I lost control of the company. And if you want to control the outcome, you've got to control the outcome. And I lost control of that. And I stayed for a few more years. But I just felt again like, man, my work here is done. And I retired, built a place in the mountains of Utah, 27 acres. It's really, I think, to me, it's the nicest property in America.
It's heaven on earth, man.
It's amazing. And retired, and I was playing golf every day, and I bought all this fly fishing gear, thinking, I'm in the bastion of fly fishing, and I've used it once. But one day I came home from golf, Josh, and it was in the middle of the 2016. It was like 2015, and the election was going on, and I was just so frustrated with the division I was seeing in this country. So frustrated with the lack of leadership that I was seeing on both sides of the aisle.
Sure.
Of people uniting and bringing people together for the common good of this country. I hope I live long enough to see these 50 states be united again, to become the United States. But that's why really I came out of retirement, because I said it's time for leaders to stand up and provide a place for people to speak truth into people's lives and provide hope and provide opportunity for people to go out and chase their dreams and believe that they're in a place that they'll be valued, appreciated, respected, regardless of their race, their religion, or any other divisive thing that comes between us. And so that's really why I started this company. I've made more than I'll ever spend in this industry. I'm still that simple guy from Idaho. And so my needs are this. I just turned 60. I believe one day I'll stand before my maker or kneel before him, and I just want to hear him say, Dallin, well done. We've all been given one life. We've all been given different gifts and talents. I don't have many. I was slugged in the face by my high school principal. I got a 13 on the ACT. You will never meet another human being that scored lower on a college entrance exam than I did, because I was in a rock and roll band and I didn't care about school. But, we all grow up at different times. And I finally grew up and realized, wow, I've got one life. What do I want to do with my life while I'm on this rock and rotating around the sun? I've been around that sun now just about 61 times. And I've decided for the rest of my life, I'm going to do everything I can for as long as I can to help bring people together and be a unifier and provide leadership and opportunity to people. So that's what I did. Came out of retirement, launched my final venture. I built 2 global companies. This is the 3rd one. I was fortunate enough to, I don't know how, it surprised all my family and my high school principal for sure. And they gave me the Entrepreneur of the Year award in America and gave me CEO of the Year in Utah. And that's all nice and stuff, but it's really a reflection on the people I've surrounded myself with and what we've been able to accomplish. I'm a driven guy. I love doing significant things. At 60 years old, Josh, I don't have 5 minutes to spend with people who aren't interested in doing something significant.
Sure.
It's time for people to stand up and do good and bring people together. That's what we've done. We're now 3 years old as a company. We've got 5 offices, 4 in Asia and 1 in America. And between me and my 3 founding partners, we've got over 100 years of experience. So what are we learning right now, Josh? We're in the middle of a pandemic. And then we've got looting and rioting going on across the country. I've never seen a country as divided. So I came back because I wanted to unify. And, all we can do is all we can do.
Right.
And in my space in the world, I'm doing everything I can to bring people together. And so I guess if you're out there listening, and if you've got an entrepreneurial spirit, this is my advice to you, whether it's Vasayo or not. Here's my strongest advice, because trust me, after 30 years in this business, I've heard all the naysayers. They all say, oh, it doesn't work. This doesn't work. This is what I've found in life. Whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right.
100%.
And you get what you look for in life. My 30 years of experience in direct selling is that it's the purest form of free enterprise. If you're fortunate enough to get involved with a company that goes from small to big, if you're willing to roll up your sleeves and put in the blood, sweat, and tears to set yourself free financially, if you've got demonstrable products that are disruptive in the marketplace and your timing is right, then you've got a chance.
Sure.
You've got to have all of these things going in your favor. But for example, just because someone wants to start a direct selling company doesn't mean they're going to be successful.
Right.
Very few of them are successful.
Absolutely.
And that's life in general. I just read on the way over here, GNC is closing, filing Chapter 11.
Ooh.
1,200 stores, brick and mortar. Folks, listen, the world is changing. There's now 40 million more reasons for you to be thinking about a plan B today, because 40 million plus Americans have filed unemployment. I don't know where this ends, Josh. I mean, I've always, since this came out, I said the pandemic, it didn't come to stay, it came to pass. But I read an article last night saying it's not passing, it's staying. I'm not a doomsdayer, but who knows? I'm convinced nobody really knows what you're talking about on this subject. But what I do know is that if you're going to sit around waiting for the government to continue sending you $1,200 checks for the rest of your life, wake up.
Yep.
It ain't happening. So what are your options out there? If you've lost your job, is it coming back? Maybe, maybe not. I'm grateful that we've yet to lay off a single employee.
That's awesome.
Because we've got the business model that people work from home. I mean, now more than ever is the time for people to realize that with Zoom and with the technology that's been made available in 2020, I can build a global company working from home with nutritional products. I mean, listen, if you Google nutrition, people are Googling how do I make money from home? And they're Googling nutrition products more than ever before, because they want to help strengthen their immune system, to fight stuff off. Now, we can't make any claims that if you get on Vasayo products, you're not going to get COVID, of course. But we would be wise to do everything we can to try to stack the odds in our favor by taking solid nutritional products, not smoking, getting exercise. I mean, they're saying that this virus doesn't penetrate as well outside. So I'm getting up every morning and I'm going walking.
There you go.
Anywhere from 5 to 10 miles a day. And I'm telling you, it's a great way to start my day. And as you know, we live in one of the most beautiful places in North America to get out and look at those mountains.
We do.
Hear the birds sing. So that's a long answer to a short question.
No, that was brilliant. Guys, I don't know if you can feel the passion. It is absolutely palpable right now in this room. You can just, it exudes from you, Dallin. And I want to talk about some of you mentioned GNC. There's a lot of people right now who are unsure of their futures. I mean, a company like GNC, they have done so well for so long. You talked about really finding that vehicle, and what people who have worked for GNC for how long, what are they thinking right now? That they thought they picked the vehicle. They thought this job was what was going to make the rest of their lives, but it's not. And in uncertain times, you have to be the one to take responsibility. If you're not taking responsibility of your future, you're in big trouble.
If it is to be, it's up to me. If not now, when? If not Vasayo, what? Here's the deal. At 60 years old and 30 years in this business, even after creating 2 global companies, there's not been a day in my 30 years where I felt secure. That's the life of an entrepreneur.
Absolutely is.
So you get up every day because it's based on you, but it's not just based on you. It's based on the company you choose. I would say that this is something I'd like to say, Josh, to your audience. First of all, it makes 100% sense. 100% sense for you to get involved in a plan B. Figure out what that is. 1,200 GNC stores. There's 40 million Americans that thought their life was, man, I'm doing great. No need for me to look at anything else. But this needs to be one of your vehicles, whether it's Vasayo or a direct selling company. Choose a company that's got consumable products that people are willing to reorder, that are disruptive. And get involved with that company at the right time. That's my advice for you. And utilize the technology like Zoom and stuff. But listen, you're never going to feel secure in life. I mean, that's the human experience. We weren't sent here to say, man, my life feels so secure. But we were probably raised saying, get a college degree, go to work for a Fortune 500 company, and your life is secure. It's not. It's not secure. The only thing that's secure is that one day we're going to pass from this planet. And hopefully when we pass, we'll be able to look back on our life at the end of our life and say, this world is a little bit better place. It's a net positive that I was here, not a net negative. That's one of the reasons why I appreciate what you're doing, because you're a net positive to society, Josh. You're casting out hope and vision for people to show them there is a way. I'm telling you, there is a way. In my 30 plus years in this business, every week I've paid people around the world. Every week.
Wow.
Without fail. Okay.
It's amazing.
GNC is not paying their employees this week. 1,200 of those stores. And a lot of the other brick and mortar companies are going to be following suit, because look, our lives are not going to go back to exactly how they were before. And maybe some ways that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Not at all.
Listen, I'm hoping for some college football this fall, with some fans in the stands. But look, I think we have to be aware that the world is forever changed. When 9/11 hit, it changed our world. We can't go to an airport now without being frisked, right?
Yep.
You used to be able to go up to the gate and say goodbye to people. And I think our lives will forever be changed. So here's my message to you, as strongly as I can say it. I've tried to herald this message from the rooftops for the last 30 years. Some have listened to me and some haven't. And some have been richly rewarded generationally for listening to my advice. My advice is to get in, develop some skills, stay in, and use this vehicle of networking and direct selling as a leveraged vehicle in your life, as a plan B to bring another stream of income into your life, so that if and when another pandemic hits, you're prepared. You've got money in the bank, okay? And be wise with your money. As you start earning money, yeah, you can spend and waste a little bit of it. You got to save money for taxes, get a financial advisor, and be wise. Josh, I've talked to people. I'll tell you, the network marketers are the worst managers of money of anybody I've ever known.
100% agree with that.
They think it never is going to end. And so they go buy the fancy car, the big house, the boat, the motor coach. I had a guy in my office a year ago that's made over $80 million and he's broke.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know how to do that. But just be wise, okay? I'm conservative by nature, but just be wise. So I would say, anyway, that's about it.
So I want to go off on this because you mentioned, having a second option, because so many of us were raised, you go get a good education, you go get a good job, you stay at that job as long as you can, you retire with that. But with our entire world changing with this pandemic, as we've seen now, you can't just rely on that anymore. The future is changing. You have to look outside the box. You have to look for new opportunities. And this is one of those, whether it's Vasayo, like you said, or whatever it is, you have to start looking for other opportunities. But you mentioned something to me that Vasayo has done. And the reason we're even sitting here today was one of our good friends, Mark Ewell. We've been friends for a long time. And he introduced me to a product that was hugely beneficial to me, your guys' CBD product, which has changed my life. It's changed so many other people's lives. So you have to find a company that has something unique, like you said, and you guys do. You guys have this liposomal technology. I don't want to go deep into it, but this is revolutionary. What you guys have is very, very unique, and it does set you guys apart.
It's so important to have some differentiating advantage when you're in business, right? Since you brought up Mark's name, let me just say he was a 22-year-old bellman at the Marriott. When I was with USANA, he came and got involved with me in that company. He's followed me over here. He's run with me for the last almost 30 years and made over $30 million.
Wow.
As a 22-year-old getting into this business. So
that's insane.
I've seen people in their 80s. In fact, one of my best friends is 92 years old. He's making over $100,000 a month and has done for several years now in this industry from Philadelphia. I've seen people 18 and in their 90s making a significant amount of income. Does that mean everybody will? No. But what one man or woman can do, so can another. I've seen people make an extra $100 a week, all the way to 150 grand a week in this business as they build a global business. Here's my advice for you. Cast a wide net. It's like maybe the analogy of fishing. You can catch more fish with a single fishing pole or a big net. So cast a big net and you'll have a big harvest, okay? And what I mean by that also is that people are used to making money in their own community.
Sure.
But every community is a microcosm of the global community. It's the micro level of a macro economy. So wouldn't you rather have some money coming from your own town and city and state, and also your region, and also outside of America? So that when a certain economy goes backwards, some of them are growing and some of them are contracting. That's the world that we live in. So the vision I would have for you, if you're interested in getting involved, I would just say get back with Josh and he can give you the details. But 5 years down the road, it's going to come and go very, very fast, by the way. This month, my dad, we celebrate his fifth anniversary of his passing. I can't believe it's been 5 years, June 15, 2015. But 5 years comes very, very fast. I'm telling you that over the next 5 years, you can build a global business with a Vasayo that has the potential to pay you for decades, each and every week. Whether that's $100 a week or $1,000 a week or $5,000 a week or $100,000 a week, I've seen all ranges. Yes, Josh, we've got something disruptive. It's very important. I wanted to come out of retirement to do something for my country, to provide leadership, but I was unwilling to do it unless I felt like I had something disruptive, and we've got it. Here it is in a nutshell. Drug companies have used liposomes for years, pharmaceutical companies, to deliver their drugs to the cellular level. That's why they're effective. Nutrition companies haven't used those because there was patents on those. Those have run out. We are now the first nutritional company in the world to put multiple nutrients inside of a fat bubble called a liposome to deliver those nutrients to where they're the most beneficial. That's why people are having extraordinary results on our nutritional products. Now realize we can't make any claims to treat, cure, mitigate disease. What are a few of our products? You mentioned CBD. We've got, to my knowledge, the world's only patented a liposomal THC-free CBD oil and cream. I call this stress in a bottle, okay? If you're under stress, and who isn't today, you take a couple drops of the CBD oil and you can feel it start to ease off. The CBD cream is for aches and pains. I've got a product for sleep. I've got a product for the brain. I've got a product for detox. We just partnered with a Warren Buffett company in Barcelona, Spain. We're the global leader in liposomal nutrition, that being Vasayo. Lipotech is the global leader in liposomal skincare. We've just partnered with them because the skin is the largest organ on the body.
Wow.
And now we have the world's finest skincare line along with the finest nutritional line.
Holy cow.
A Warren Buffett Berkshire company out of Barcelona, Spain. So yes, when I found that liposome story, I said, that's something I can get behind, because I basically, with Monavie, we introduced the world to the acai berry.
Sure.
We really created that market.
So
and
cool.
Now you can see the acai bowls and stuff
all over. Costco, you can get it now. Yeah.
I'm a market creator. That's what I love to do, and build community. we're creating the market for liposomal nutritional products. They are far superior. It's like a Hyundai versus a Ferrari.
Big difference.
There you go.
That is incredible. And you see what you have done. And like I said, the fact that you've been willing to come out of retirement, and it's not just about health and nutrition is one thing, but your vision and your passion for helping others do the same thing. And like you said, casting a wide, let's go back to the fishing analogy. You can do it by yourself. You can go out and fish by yourself, but how much more fun it is to have other people in the boat with you, to go out fishing and to bring them with you on your journey. And that's something you encourage as well. Is like, hey, don't go on this journey by yourself. Don't go fishing by yourself. Bring others with you. Show them how to cast that same net so they can bring in those loads of fish. They can continue to feed their family. And that's the exciting part of what you teach as well.
Absolutely. I mean, life lived alone is pretty, it can be good, but if you want it to be great and significant, you want to bring people along with you on that journey. The other thing we did, Josh, when I started this company, I wanted to provide a cause for people, something bigger than themselves, a way to give back. I just don't believe it's the government's responsibility to do all things. And so we've created this. We've partnered with an organization called Hearts and Hands for Humanity that we're drilling wells in Africa.
Wow.
I was over there about 9 months ago drilling a well in a small village in Tanzania. We've now funded, I think, 103 wells and finished, I think, 85 of them, providing fresh water to about 300,000 children every day in Tanzania, Africa, and Kenya. My goal is to provide water for millions of children. And how do we raise money for those wells? Each well is $7,500. And every one of our functions, people come up and donate, whether it's $1 or $7,500 for their own well with their own name on it on the plaque.
Wow.
It's a beautiful thing. And there's over 2,000 children in Africa dying every day under the age of 5, simply because they don't have access to fresh water. Isn't that amazing? I mean, it's like 50 years ago, we sent a man to the moon, but yet we can't provide the basic necessity of water to all the world's inhabitants. So we may not be able to save all those children, but we're saving a bunch of them. And I started this company, Josh, because I wanted to leave a legacy. I know this, that if I were to pass away today, that legacy is secured, because long after I'm gone, there's children in Africa that are going to be pumping that well 150 to 200 feet deep of fresh water and living, and not being numbered among the 2,000 who are dying every day. So if you're looking for a way to make some more money, if you're looking for a way to get involved with a community of people, like-minded people wanting to do good in the world, and bring people together and value people for who they are, realizing that you're good enough just as you are. Can we all improve? Yes, but this provides like a laboratory for you to improve with personal development. It provides you a way to earn while you learn. Josh, I always say to people, I'd say, look, what's the worst that can happen? What's the best that can happen if you get involved in a company like networking? And the worst that's going to happen is you're going to invite a few people, and they're going to say no to you. That's it. It's not like you're starting a GNC store and shutting it down with and firing employees. The best that's going to happen is you're going to get healthier. You're going to belong to a community. You're going to start making some money that grows week in, week out. And years down the road, like my sister, 27 years later, you've earned a check every week. And you're able to travel the world like I have. I've now been in all 50 states and over 70 countries in the world because I said yes to this industry when people were laughing. Okay. My life has been so rich. I've been able to make more than I'll ever spend. What do I do with that? I'm fortunate to be able to give back and to causes that are important to me. I was able to take my dad before he died to the Super Bowl, something he's always wanted to do. I was able to take him to the Masters and watch him sit at Amen Corner. It was like heaven for him. And for me too, to be able to take my dad before he passed to those things. So I want you to dream again, folks. Life is not over. We're here for a reason. Let's live a large life and leave the world a little bit better. When I was in scouting, my mom taught me that. Dallin, leave this place a little bit better. And that's all I'm wanting to do, Josh. And I know that you're doing the same with what you're doing at Shred.
Oh man, you are too kind, and you continue to do that. And that's why I'm so very grateful that you were willing to take time out of your busy schedule as you have traveled the world, being able to come here to the Shred Studio and just sharing with our audience your passion, your vision, your enthusiasm for the entrepreneur. And like you mentioned, now could not be a better time. Now, when the world is in chaos, when we need people to unite, to come together as a country, as humanity, what better way to do it? So Dallin, I cannot thank you enough for joining us today and sharing a little bit about your passion. And guys, if you do have questions, comment below. I'd love to get back with you and chat with you about it. But now is the time for you to take control of your life. And it only can, like Dallin, you mentioned, only you can do it. You cannot expect or expect or rely on anybody else. This is up to you. You can make a difference. Down, even the story of the wells, dude, that just makes me, it just gives me so much, man, it gets me excited. So thank you so much for being here today. We appreciate you coming and sharing all that you have with us. I appreciate it.
Josh, it's been great to spend the last 25 minutes with you and your audience. I wish everyone a great day, a great week, and a great life. And more than importantly than that is a significant life. Don't take for granted what you have, because life goes fast. I've learned at 60 that, man, my dad said before he passed, the older I get, the faster the ride. And I'm realizing that as well, that the seasons come, the seasons go, and life goes fast. None of us are perfect. We all make mistakes along the way. We've all got bloodied knees, and there's some days that we wake up and say, man, is it all worth it? You know, I'm an optimist. I believe it is worth it. I believe in my country. I believe that better days are ahead, and I believe that we're going to build a community at Vasayo of like-minded people to go change the world one person at a time. Gandhi once said, don't ever believe that a handful of people can't change the world, because in fact, it's the only thing that ever has. You know, you lock arms with people who have good intentions, significant intentions, and you go out and develop the skills necessary. You can have all you desire in life if you're willing to grab it and partner with the right people. So I'd encourage you to get back with Josh and ask some questions. And if this makes sense for you, it'd be an honor of mine to have you join us at Vasayo. I would do everything I can and promise to you as an Eagle Scout, because my mom said you're going to get your Eagle if you want to drive. So I did. But I promise you that I'll do my best to put you in a position to win in magnificent fashion through this vehicle. Thanks again, Josh.
Dallin, thank you guys so much. And like he said, better days are ahead, ladies and gentlemen. And I look forward to surrounding ourselves with great people like you. As always, we appreciate you. We love you. And now it's time to go shred, go show up, hustle, repeat every day. See you guys.